Joey Sturgis Tones presents Toneforge Misha Mansoor, an amp sim that's the very definition of versatility, if you ask me. The first thing I would reckon you do is click on signal path. You would notice this magic button. It does make a big difference. Now getting on with the pedal section, we have a precision drive by Horizon Devices. It has a gate built in, which comes in handy. Speaking of handy, this plugin has a tuner with a mute button, which again comes in handy if you're doing a live stream. Now getting on with the amp section, you can tell that this is based upon PV's Invective Misha Mansoor signature head with all the bells and whistles. I'm using Misha Mansoor Advanced. If you're a nerd, this is Candyland. We have this amazing 360-degree knob that has 3 sections and 4 rotations, which you have it for all the 3 channels, which gives you 36 different possibilities. Versatile, huh? Checking out the back panel. Choosing the transformer type is the biggest difference maker in this section. And the preamp EQ here is just like one of those tweed amps. If you increase the mids, it's gonna saturate the signal, which works great for getting mid-gain tones from the clean channel. Oh, the cap section. Cap section is great. You can load your own impulse responses, which is what I did. Instead of muting the cap section, having an external impulse loader in case if you want to branch out. The IRs that I chose for this particular video are all Conquer All packs from JST. The effects, EQ and the compressor limiter sections though, self-explanatory. Hello and welcome to Pitchfork Studios, Nasik, India. Today we have a very special treat, you guys. We have Toneforge Misha Mansoor. Let's get to the amp. Now, as you can see, the EQ section is pretty self-explanatory. Then the character section, tightness, saturation per. The tightness and the saturation knob definitely work and make a huge difference. As you can see, this is a 360-degree knob. You can move it all around. It starts off with 1. And then as you move it along, it goes to 2, 3, 4, entirely giving you 32 different possibilities of tone. Getting to the back panel, we have 2 different preamp selections, a preamp EQ, power amp section and a transformer section. Now, if you ask me if the sections that make a huge difference, I would say the type of transformer you choose and the topology that you choose. So basically, it's like Candyland if you are an absolute guitar nerd. Now going from the amp section into the cabinet section, the impulse response that I chose for this particular tone is Marshall 30th cab from Joey Sturgis Conquer All Volume Pack 1. It sounds freaking fantastic. Now let's get to that magic button. Does it make any difference at all or not? This is with and this is without. If you turn it off for this particular setting that I've done, and of course if it is a Misha Mansoor plugin, it's definitely gonna gent. Oh, beautiful. The lead tone that I got is, of course, me being a huge John Petrucci fan. If you want to get the best out of the lead and the crunch channel, I would suggest using the instrument input in your interface rather than the line input. I'll show you the difference. Now this is through the line input. Doesn't sound too bad, but quite a big difference if you turn it into an instrument. Now let me show you how I dialed in the clean sound that you just heard. I chose the first section of the fourth rotation in the clean channel. And by the way, for the clean sounds, I am using the line input and not the instrument input, because the instrument input is quite loud in my interface and it saturates the signal. For the cleans, I want like really fat, warm, pristine cleans. And if you chose the bridge speaker for this one, you might sound like. Now let me show you how I dialed in the mid gain sound that you just heard. So I used the same first section of the fourth rotation, but this time with the precision drive. Now in the back panel, as you can see, I have boosted the mids, and if I reduce it, let's see how it sounds. And if I boost it entirely, choosing the transformer is also quite important. Now one thing that I really wanted to focus on with this plugin is its sheer versatility and the fact that you can get some brilliant sounding vintage style guitar tones. The impulse response that I chose for this particular sound is this 1936 cabinet, pretty much the same power amp and microphone with the same console combination, and there are some EQ cuts, check those out. Sounds fantastic if you ask me. It sounds vintage, sounds old, sounds like 80s. Spanky! Now, these are the settings that I chose for the Led Zeppelin-ish sound that I tried to make. A lot of attack coming from And this particular section in the fourth rotation of the crunch channel is very spanky. Sounds quite good at the neck pickup as well. Spanky. Impulse response, I chose beast mode IRs. I think I went with the second Marshall cabinet with Fredman style SM57. Fredman style is basically a combination of two SM57 microphones, one being on axis, one being off axis. It sounds amazing for this particular sound. EQ cuts, just a few of them, not much. Doesn't sound too bad now, does it?